Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beat your price. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beat your price.
Sephora stores are everywhere you are. So just pop in. When you need a brown lip to match your 90s playlist. A confidence boost before your interview. Or a last-minute gift for mom's birthday. There's always a Sephora near you. Just pop in. Use our store locator to find your local Sephora or Sephora at Kohl's.
Welcome to the You Can Do Both podcast. This is Court.
And this is Ashley, and we're coming at you live from Boston.
On a lovely Saturday morning.
A lovely Saturday morning. We haven't done a weekend recording in quite some time.
I know. It feels so good.
The vibes are so welcoming.
Seriously.
We're not in a rush. Although a little bit. You are going apple picking after this.
I am. The first real fall activity is upon me. Very excited about it. Although the weather today is not giving fall. I'm in a short sleeve right now. I brought a sweater just in case.
Blue skies. I feel like it's kind of warm.
Yeah, it is warm, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do.
Are you planning to make something with the apples?
I would love to make something with apples. I haven't thought about that yet, but yeah, that'll be an activity for my long car ride on the way there because we're going like an hour out of the city to do it.
Where are you going?
I don't know. No idea.
Perfect.
Where Matt's sister organized it. They do this every year. I think it might be at the same place we always do it. Nothing crazy. It's just convenient for the rest of the family. So we're always the city livers that go out to the burbs for the casual family meetup.
I love that.
Yeah. Everyone expects us to be late every time.
Yep.
They're just like, are they going to show up? I don't know. And I kind of love that archetype.
I love that for you guys.
Yeah.
I think it's very on brand.
Yeah, we're the only ones without kids. It's
Yep.
not pregnant. We're not married. Like we do our thing.
Perfect.
Yeah. You have a very big event after this.
I am. Joe and I's parents are meeting for the very first time tonight.
Which is crazy.
Crazy.
4
in
years
which
later.
way?
4
That
years
they haven't
later.
met yet?
Yes, I think so. But I understand they live in different places. It's difficult, but still after 4 years, I figured there would have been like at least one time already.
Yeah.
But
I'm looking forward to it because both parents are like, oh, when are we going to meet them? And originally, if you asked me this 2 years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, so nervous. But at this point, Joe and I were like, we don't really care. Whether you like each other or not, it doesn't really bother us.
no,
So
literally. It's going to be so fun. I cannot wait to hear tomorrow how it goes.
Yeah. Wait, another life update is that my sister has officially moved back into the city with her boyfriend. So fun. So I'm going to go down for lunch/brunch at Real House tomorrow with my family on the water. Should be a nice day.
So good.
And then we're going to go to Duxbury Oyster Fest or something like that.
So random, but
Yeah.
here for it.
Such a fun weekend ahead.
I know. Such a fun Boston-filled weekend.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyways, shall we get into today's episode?
Yeah, let's.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest today. That guest being Mrs. Ashley Paul. Woo!
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today.
The hair flip, the most drama. No, but for real, Ashley has a lot to teach us. She's quite an inspiration in terms, or at least at this point in my life, and I hope she will be in all of yours. She's revamping her life at the moment, and she created a Notion. She's doing all of these things in different areas, and I personally need to hear it. So let's get into... Hold on. Drum roll, please. Let's get into a template for getting your shit together by Ashley Paul.
Yes.
Yours truly.
So I don't really know what came over me. I think over the last couple of months, I have noticed that there is a select week or two throughout the month that I have a ton of energy. I'm upbeat, I'm optimistic, I'm feeling good, I'm a workhorse, I'm ready to go, I'm inspired. And then there's another 2 weeks of the month where I'm like so low, like I can't do anything, nothing's motivating. And
that's on being a woman.
And that is on being a woman. Now, have I mapped it to my cycle just yet? No, I haven't put the puzzle pieces together. I just know that when I'm upbeat and I have the energy, I know it's not going to last forever, so I might as well take advantage of it. And this last kind of segment, when that happened, I was like, you know what? I need a little revamp to my life. The concept of September is the new year, like back to school season, summer's ending. Summer's so chaotic, and the fall and into the rest of the year can be a little bit more structured. And for me personally, I love a structure. So I was like, let me just take this energy I have right now and see where I can enhance my life, as I do all the time, and then it like kind of rolls off. But this time, it really stuck.
It feels permanent. It feels like you have these habit trackers and these systems in place that are getting you really excited. So ride it out for as long as you can.
That's what I'm thinking. So I've been pretty consistent with it, and I'm still kind of fine-tuning the different areas, but I feel like I have my shit together. So I was telling Courtney, and I was like, wait, this is actually working for me. And Court was like, wait, let's talk about it on the pod, because I think it can help some of the girlies.
100%.
So we're going to try to cover the different areas of which I am, quote, revamping, and I'll tell you how I thought about it.
Perfect. Shall we start with the handy dandy tool that you and I both are obsessed with that
Yes.
you're using to track all of these things?
Yeah. So I started with Notion. I think if you don't know what Notion is, it's like a free template, and I think people use it for project management.
Yeah.
We use it for You Can Do Both.
Yeah.
It's a very easy user interface. It's aesthetic.
Yeah.
You can download templates. You can make your own. You can have little like emojis to title the pages. And again, it's just super easy to use, and it's free.
Yeah. It's like a note taker. It's a calendar. You can literally make whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
And it's an app that you can have on your phone versus something you could use on a desktop. It's
You can
just
share with people.
Yep. There's AI now integrated into it. It's just a catch-all. And
Yes.
it's social media and content creators, like they use it to track and schedule their content. Like there's so many different use cases no matter what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and it's honestly fun.
Yeah.
To go in and like make a little template or even write down your grocery list. It doesn't even matter. It's just nice.
Yeah.
So that's where I started this. I've had my own personal Notion for a while where like I did my goals for the year and all of that, but I very rarely open it. But because we're kind of getting our shit together with You Can Do Both,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, while we're cleaning up the You Can Do Both Notion, why not take a peek into my personal one?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where this all started. So I would first recommend everybody, if you don't already have a Notion, if you already have one, honestly, just start new. Like create a new tab and let's start fresh.
Yep. Talk to us about the categories. So like you use Notion. Now what are the different tabs or things that you are kind of organizing within it?
Okay, perfect. So I think there's maybe like 7 or 8 categories. So we'll start from the top, the obvious, and then we can go into each one and dive deeper. So the first one is obviously your to-dos. I put this, oh wait, hold on. Before we even get into the categories, I want to share that I picked a theme for my Notion. So my word for the year, if you guys remember, is bloom. So it just looks so cute, and it genuinely brings me joy every time I open it. It's like AP's Notion, and then I open it, it says let's bloom, and then all of my little categories have a different color flower,
So
and
cute.
it just reminds me of my word of the year. So I don't know how relatable that is, but I feel like it, like, pick a theme, pick a motto, pick a quote to put at the top of it that inspires you and makes you happy when you open it. It kind of sounds cheesy, but it works.
Yeah. No, it's just very on brand.
Yes.
Back to the categories.
Back to the categories. So the first one's to-dos. I literally just love having a running to-do list. Now, something I've noticed also with our You Can Do Both one. So I update my to-dos as things happen throughout the week, but like you kind of do a big one at the start of the week on Sunday.
Yeah.
I would recommend using the check boxes, checking them off, but don't delete them until next Sunday.
Yep.
Because every time you go in to check something else off, you can see all the progress you made, and it makes you want to continue checking it, updating it, and crossing things off your to-do list. I used to be like, okay, check, delete it, but then you're not even getting the satisfaction because it's digital.
Yeah.
It's not written.
Yes, totally with you.
So there's nothing special about the to-dos other than like keeping them up to date.
Yeah, make sure it's there. Like that's the most important thing.
Yes.
And I tend to always separate my to-dos into like adulting things that I have to do versus professional. And you're not using this for your work related stuff, right?
No.
This is literally just for personal.
I honestly have the Notion equivalent in the corporate world, OneNote.
Yeah.
Where I do this exact same thing. I have my running to-dos, my backlog items, check box. It's very similar, just with a corporate look.
Can you tell that Miss Ashley is type A? She's like I thought I was a list person. This woman is a list person.
I am. It just scratches my brain in the way that I need it to.
Yep.
And I feel more in control when everything in my life is on a list.
Yeah. Respect.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the next one is routines. So I also already kind of had this template from when I was doing my planning for the year. So I separate my routines into AM and PM. And I already had them there, but I kind of just revamped them. So a hack for routines, you can't go through and say, I'm going to wake up at this time, and from 6 a.m. to 6:10, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to brush my teeth. And then from there, I don't know if anyone else did this. I used to do this when I was younger. I would like in middle school, I would write down to the minutes, like, okay, I'm going to walk down the hallway. It takes me 1 minute, and then I'm going to brush my teeth, and then I'm going to place it here and get my washcloth.
This is giving psycho behavior.
I know.
Oh
I
my
don't do that
gosh.
anymore, but in my brain as a kid growing up, like I used to try to get it so granular because
This is explaining so much.
Maybe we're unpacking something. I don't know.
When I was a kid, I did not have any of this at all. I didn't, truly, it was amazing if I got up before 10 a.m. in the morning. Like, before school, you would have a to-do list?
I don't know. I just remember, having a spark of energy, and I would write down, okay, what time do I need to get up so that I can get ready, pick out my outfit? I do remember I would pick out my outfits, the night before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
With your booties.
With my what?
Booties.
My little booties? Yeah. What do you mean? I'm confused.
Didn't you used to wear heels, heel booties to school?
Yeah, and regular heels, not even just boots. I was the first one in my high school to ever wear any sort of heels. I wore a platform, and then the next week, the entire school, all my friends, we were all wearing heels. The week after, I remember I was so nervous, but I got these new little small heels, platform type of shoe. And I was so nervous to go in, and I did it, and I got so many compliments, and the next week, the entire school was wearing them.
Oh my God. I wonder what the teachers thought. Who's this girl walking in here with heels?
Yeah, I looked cute.
Trendsetter.
I was a trendsetter.
Oh my God, we grew up so different.
That's why we are a match made in heaven.
I know. I went to some of the biggest schools in the U.S. How big was your high school and middle school?
800 people?
Yeah.
In high school?
Yeah, mine was times 5. My graduating class was 1,200.
My graduating class was 140 or something.
That is so crazy. I showed up naked to school every day because I lived in 90-degree weather. It's actually crazy. My parents let me out of the house in the shit that I was wearing. Imagine those festival jean shorts.
How did you not get in trouble at school? I had to have the dollar thickness for my tank tops, and then it had to be past my middle finger tip when I was standing up for skirts and shorts and dresses.
I have one word for you. Florida.
And this is why I can't live in Florida. I can't raise children like this. I mean, you actually turned out just fine, but
yeah, no.
Florida just doesn't care.
No, Florida doesn't.
There's no rules.
No, there's no rules. And it was so fun. I would wear, we had a little uniform in Florida for middle school. It had to be a solid colored collared shirt. So like go to Aeropostale, Abercrombie.
You had a uniform, but you're wearing booty shorts?
Hold on, let me get into it.
Okay.
So middle school, we had uniforms. High school, we didn't. Middle school uniforms were collared shirts, solid color. So you would get them from like Aeropostale, Abercrombie, Hollister. But what was cool for some reason was wearing like tank tops underneath it so that like you'd unbutton the collared shirt and there'd be like a little pop of color underneath it.
Oh, so chic.
So chic. And then like the bottoms had to be like khaki black or navy blue.
Okay.
And then in high school it was sometimes they'd send girls home for like wearing like too promiscuous of things.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
But no, you got away with a lot of stuff. I feel
like that makes more sense when there's so many kids.
Yeah. So what you were saying
was the routines.
Was the routines.
I digress.
We digress.
We digress. Yeah, so all to say, if some people have a similar brain to mine and you try to go super detailed into your routines, I like to do it by category. So like my morning routine, I would be like in the bathroom. Okay, in the bathroom, I'm going to gua sha, floss, water pick, and then in the kitchen, I'm going to take my supplements. That's where I take my vitamins for the day. Whatever like things in your routine that you want. Movement, and then underneath movement, I would say the types of movement that are my options. So currently I have running, equinox, or stretching. Mm-hmm. And those are like my 3 things. Just it helps to list them out for me. So however you see that applied to you, but I like a morning and night routine and then just like group it by category.
Love. So talk to me about Sundays.
Okay. Okay, so the next category, this one's probably my favorite and one that I just introduced in this revamp. So I think we can all relate to the Sunday reset concept. Mm-hmm. In my head, I'm like, okay, Sundays are my day to really get reset for the week. I have so much to accomplish. And then I was like, well, what do I actually accomplish on a weekly basis? Every single Sunday, what do I need to get done in order for me to feel confident going into the week ahead? And I think I listed out every single one of them. All right, so this is literally copy-paste exactly what I have on my Sunday reset. And again, this is just the bare minimum for what I can do every single Sunday to feel confident going into the week. First one, charge Whoop. And this is because there's nothing worse than when your Whoop is like, oh, you're about to die, you need to charge it. And not that it takes a lot of time, but I'm like, I just want one day to like reset. So charge my Whoop. Sunday is my laundry day. Plan my meals for the week. Establish my work from office, work from home days. I do have to be in the office 3 days a week. I'm trying to standardize that and have it be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But again, like depending on the work events, depending on the podcast, like it could change. Plan my workouts for the week. Make a grocery list. Hair oil, which I did for the first time last Sunday. I literally just put my hair oil in and then you can go about your day. Yeah. I went over to Courtney's.
A lot of these are like habit stacking too.
Exactly. Grocery shop, wash hair, but specifically blow it out. So this is something I've been doing recently. I'm so lazy with my hair that I love to just let it air dry. But if you just blow dry it at the root, I have so much more like volume in my hair and it lasts for longer.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I feel better. When my hair's done, I feel better. I feel more put together. So I'm trying to establish that on Sundays and then planning out my work outfits for the week because that is a piece of my morning that can sometimes be stressful when I'm like, I hate this outfit. I don't want to go to work in this.
Yep.
So that's it. It's fairly straightforward. I think there's 10 things on there.
Yeah.
And that's my Sunday reset. Those are things I can do every single Sunday, assuming I have the time. But they're kind of low lift.
Yeah. It's like you can kind of get them all done within like a couple hours.
Yeah. The biggest time consuming one would be grocery shopping.
And I think like specifically for Sundays, I think people are like, oh, but like I want to have fun. Like I want to do nothing. I want to have a lazy Sunday. So I think your version of this, whoever's listening, like it's fully customizable to you, one, but number two, it's like the bare minimum things that are just going to help make you thrive throughout the week. So don't do a list of 20 things that's going to overwhelm you and kind of discourage you from starting it. Because sometimes if I have a to-do list that's so long, I'm like, I don't even know where to start. And it's like more overwhelming than it is helpful. So totally up to you, but just make sure it's like feasible. Like you want it to set yourself up, not like overwhelm and scare you.
And 80% of that list, maybe even 90%, you can do from your couch.
Yeah.
You can do while literally rotting on the couch all day.
Totally.
So kind of nice. It's really not that serious.
No.
And I would recommend.
No.
Okay, the next one. So I mentioned planning out my workouts for the week. This is more specific because I'm attempting to train for the goddamn half marathon. So what actually sparked this entire thing was I was like, I need to come up with a training plan for how many miles I need to run in my remaining 2.5 weeks in order to feel some type of confidence going into this road race, let's call it. So I created a calendar below, like in the very bottom of my Notion, and in the upcoming week, well, one, I planned out the rest of my runs until the half marathon. And then I added in an equinox day for all of my off days. And then when I'm running, I have the exact mileage. So I think today I'm supposed to run 1 mile. And then I'm like, why even run the 1 mile, you know? But whatever, that's beside the point.
Ashley, but it's on your list. You have to check it off.
It is. So that's kind of what sparked it. So in the upcoming week, I can be like, oh, I'm going to go to Equinox on Tuesday and Friday. Let me text my friend Courtney and be like, hey, there's a Bala Bangle Bar burn class. Do you want to go to that on Tuesday morning? You know? Simple, easy, fun.
Yeah.
So I think having the calendar view for your workouts, but then also for any plans you have, like the Glow Bar event. Like, okay, I know that's on Thursday, so maybe that's
Tuesday.
Probably... Well, sorry.
No.
Now it's on Tuesday. So maybe I don't want to go into the office that day. So that might affect my work from home, work from office schedule.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend a calendar view in your like Sunday reset to-do list in your Notion area. It just helps keep everything in one place.
Okay. I know that you feel very passionately about having a reset in terms of any day could be a new week in your mind, a new month in your mind, a new beginning. Morning. So what do you do to monthly reset, like to prep for, I think when this episode comes out, it's going to be like second week of October, and that's not too late to reset for October.
It's not.
Or start planning for November.
It's never too late. So this is also something new that I introduced into the resetting of in my Notion, how to get your shit together template. And the thought came to me when I was in the shower and I was shaving my legs, and I was like, when was the last time I changed this blade? I need to remember to change it every month.
Yep.
Like, I just want that to be part of like, oh, it's the first. I just paid my bills. Time to change my razor blade in the shower.
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't I just make a short list of things I want to do on a monthly basis, just so I don't forget and I'm using a fresh blade in the shower. It's as simple as that.
Love it.
So I also listed out exactly what's on my monthly reset. So first one is listing out all the bills. I have done this. It's not like I'm going to forget to pay my bills, but it just gives me a sanity check of, okay, I got everything.
Yeah.
Did I pay the EverSource? Did I pay the Wi-Fi? I have 2 credit cards. So it's like making sure I check this one and for this one. Do I have my rent? Like, just list them out in a checklist format. That's the first one. Spending check. So like check how I did for my credit card limit into my budget. So we're going to get into a budgeting section and we'll see if I was on or off. But I think it's good to reflect.
Yeah.
I tend to have such a great month and then the last week I go crazy.
Yep, me too.
And I'm like, why did we do that? Let's do some analysis.
No, seriously. I'll be like, oh shit, I've already spent this much this month and it's only like second week. All right, my goal, I can't spend more than X from now until the end of the month. And then I'll look at the end of the month and I'll be like, well,
it didn't happen yet.
Well, We tried.
No, we're going to get into this later, but I'm feeling quite passionate about the budgeting section. So we'll get into that. Monthly goals. So I think the 30, 60, 90 rule, like what do you want to accomplish in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days is good. So I think if you start that now, you can also reflect on, okay, how did I do for my 30-day goals?
Yeah.
What do I want to update in my 30, 60, 90 going forward? Doesn't have to be anything revolutionary.
No.
It could be very minor things. But I think having a monthly goal that you're working towards is just nice.
Yeah, I also like specifically this time of year to have a 30, 60, 90 goal because 90 is like January 1.
Totally.
So what do you want to accomplish from now until then? And how can you break it up into those smaller milestones of 30, 60, 90 to make it feel less overwhelming?
Yeah. Okay, 4 more things is, first one is scheduling 2 date nights. I'm trying to be better while I'm scheduling the rest of my life. Why not schedule my dates?
Yeah.
So minimally, we have 2 date nights that are on the calendar. We can look forward. Maybe it's a new restaurant. Maybe it's going to see a movie. I don't know what it is. But putting it on the calendar so it actually happens. And then washing my makeup brushes, switching out the razor blade, and then we do have cleaners that come once a month. Thankfully, that's not really on me. Joe's like, okay, the cleaners are coming. I'm like,
Yeah.
Perfect. That's something we've delegated that task to him.
It's a blue job.
It is a blue job.
I love blue and pink jobs.
This is perfect.
It's the best.
I wouldn't want it any other way.
No. And preferably blue to have more jobs than pink jobs.
Yes, unfortunately, we were literally talking this morning. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing today. This is what we're doing tomorrow. He's like, oh, what? I'm like, yep. I'm like, how does it feel to not have to think about anything? How does it feel that you don't have to worry about? He's like, it's really nice. Like, I honestly love it. And I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what that feels like. And that's okay.
You don't want to know what that feels like. You like to be in control.
But imagine like not being able to let go because somebody else I know has it all like figured out for me. I've never experienced that.
Honestly, same.
So, anyways, there's that.
The issue in my relationship is that neither of us know what's going on.
No. Which is really stressful, but like it works for you guys, so that's fine.
Matt and I are just the same person. If anyone doesn't know, we're the same zodiac sign. Our birthdays are like a couple days apart, and like it shows. It shows.
Yeah.
So funny.
Right now, get scary good deals on select Ring cameras and doorbells. See who's there. Keep your scaredy cats company.
Oh, it's okay, sweetie. I'll be home soon.
And protect your crypt from the real monsters.
Oh, come on. The sign says take one.
Save big on select Ring devices right now at ring.com.
This is what you do when you've just found that statement handbag on eBay and you want to build an entire wardrobe around it. You start selling to keep buying. Yep, on eBay. Over that all-black everything phase, list it and buy all the color. Feeling more vintage than ever? It's out with the new and in with the pre-loved. Next thing you know, you've refreshed your wardrobe basically without spending a dime. Yeah, eBay, the place to buy and sell new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion.
Okay, so that finishes up the monthly reset. Again, not a crazy list, but it's something that I can now look back on. It's like, oh, it's a new month. Let me just do these small items that'll make me feel really good.
Yep. I'm really excited to hear about the new budget system that you've set up because number one, we all need it. But number two, I don't think we've ever talked about budgeting or financing as young, thriving professionals. And in part because it's overwhelming and we are not experts. But I think that resonates with probably everyone listening, like if you're not in finance. So let's jump into it. How are you building a rich life, Ashley?
Yes. So first, I just want to preface, I'm not a financial planner. Take all of this with a grain of salt. Everything that I've added here is either my own idea or something I maybe took and twisted. So it's not really coming from a professional.
Yeah. No, but that's fine.
But it's working for me, and I'm sure it'll change. But unfortunately, Notion's Excels or tables are just not that great. Yeah. I haven't found a good one. So I had to build it in Excel. So it is in 2 different places, but it's fine. I just keep it up. I've titled it My Rich Life. And because of that, I don't know who said it. I listened to a podcast of this finance guy. I think if you literally Google My Rich Life, he'll probably come up. I want to say I heard him on the Skinny Confidential, and then I went to his, and he had like something about My Rich Life. And when I was doing my reset, Joe was actually budgeting, and I was like, you know what? I want to check out my budget. I haven't touched that since January. And when I launched it, I had already had the My Rich Life and this breakdown. And I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot I even did this. Let me relook at it and revamp that piece of it all. So I would recommend Googling My Rich Life. I probably should have done that for you guys, but you're self-sufficient. Find the guy, listen to the podcast. It's very motivating and just kind of makes you feel good. Okay, so the first piece you're going to add into your Excel template is your income, monthly income after taxes.
Yeah.
Joe does this whole thing where he tries to do pre-tax versus post-tax. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. All you have is your post-tax.
Yeah.
Don't even look at the pre-tax because it's going to make you really sad how much the government takes from you.
No, literally. Every time.
No, it's so sad.
Every time.
So I think it's good to just put that in bold, put it at the top somewhere and say, okay, this is how much money I have. How am I going to divide it up? So in the My Rich Life podcast or whatever, they gave the breakdown of percentages for the different areas of your finances. And they give you like a suggested percentage. So I just threw those in and I just use them as a guide. Ideally, I try to be lower on the fixed expenses and maybe higher on the investments or higher on whatever it may be. But I think having a guide for, okay, this is what they recommend, it just kind of gives you some sort of sanity. So the first one is your fixed expenses should be 50 to 60% of your total post-tax
take-home
monthly income.
Yeah.
Essentials are things like rent, utilities, do you have insurance, maybe you have student loans, whatever it may be. Everything that if you spent zero money, all of your bills, what would you be paying?
Yeah.
I broke those into 2 pieces. So essentials and then subscriptions, because I've had this looming thought recently. I'm like, I think I have a lot of subscriptions.
I 100% do.
And you always see those commercials that it's like,
you don't know you're paying for this. It's like, oh, did you know you're paying for Netflix 2 times in a month? I'm like, what? Am I doing? That's probably me.
No, exactly. So that's kind of been a looming thought I've been having. And I was like, let me just write it out, rip the Band-Aid off. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought. So Hulu, Spotify, Kindle Unlimited, and Apple Storage.
Wait, I just want to give a quick tip because I always, like, when you get charged from Apple, or me personally, I'm always like, what are they charging me for? And I pay for extra storage. I think I have like an app that I voluntarily pay for that's like the same sum of money as my extra storage. And then I have like my phone bill as well that also comes up as Apple. And so I always have this scare of like, am I being double charged for things? Like, why are they charging me multiple times a month? You can go into your settings and go into your subscriptions and it'll outline everything for you in your settings. So you can just monitor it and click unsubscribe on anything that you realize you maybe once paid for, or maybe you downloaded a free app, but then after 3 months it was whatever. Like, I've just caught myself in finding things that I didn't know I was paying for that might be labeled as Apple on my credit card, but in your settings in your phone tells you exactly what the line item is.
That's super helpful.
Okay, back to you.
So I do think doing an exercise like Court just said is helpful to list all of your subscriptions out in front of you. In my case, I was pretty surprised and pleasantly surprised. I was like, okay, the looming cloud is gone. It's only these few, all very reasonable. Another thing in this section, if you live with a partner or maybe a roommate and you split bills, I think it's important to have a column of the total price and then just divide it by 2 into like your regular column for what you're paying. That'll come into play later. But I think knowing what the total price of things are versus what you pay is important.
Yeah.
Next section, 5 to 10% of your monthly income should go to investments. 5 to 10% should go into savings, however that looks for you. If maybe you don't have investments at the moment, maybe you just double that up into savings, or maybe you start looking into investment options. But those are like 2 ways to save. And the final piece is 20 to 30% in what they call guilt-free spending. I love the term guilt-free spending because this template makes you feel so confident that, okay, no matter what, all of my fixed expenses are covered. I'm also putting away money for savings and investments. So this is truly guilt-free spending. You can spend every single dollar in this guilt-free, no problem, because you're taking care of everything else in your life.
Yep.
So that's kind of the breakdown of your expenses. And I think it's just nice to see, okay, maybe your fixed expenses are way less than you thought, or maybe they're way more.
Yeah.
Maybe you should look into getting new Wi-Fi. Maybe you should get a cheaper apartment. I think it's nice to see the breakdown of it all. And then the piece that I added that makes me feel so good, every single month when I used to do this whole budgeting exercise, I would kind of just make up a credit card total. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to keep it under this. But I actually calculated my credit card total, and I did it. And this is where it comes from, the total price versus your divided by 2 if you're splitting your bills with some people. For example, Hulu goes on my credit card. I pay for that, but Joe and I split it because it's like the cable, whatever. So that gets divided by 2. So even though I'm only paying half of that, that full price is still going to go on my credit card bill.
Yeah.
So it was never really even, and it wasn't exact when I was like, oh, I'm going to try to keep my credit card bill under X.
Yeah, yeah.
So by calculating all of the things from your fixed expenses that actually get added to your credit card bill, plus your guilt-free spending, that's the exact price that your credit card has to be under.
Yeah.
And that just gave me the confidence. And I've never taken the time to just go through and like, okay, this one is going to be put on my credit card. This one is not.
I just saw something recently about how to not feel as guilty about kind of like not foolish spending, but frivolous spending on maybe those guilty purchases that I think might be really helpful. So essentially, as you go throughout your month, right, maybe you'll see something online that an influencer was wearing that you want to buy, or maybe you need to buy a new throw blanket for your living area, et cetera, et cetera. Add these things to cart, but don't purchase them yet. Instead, create like a running list, could be a Notion, could be a Notes app, and include the total price of everything. And at one day, every single month, probably towards the end of the month, you take a look at all of the money you almost spent on these things that you actually didn't need. Mm-hmm. For example, maybe the price of the 12 things that you almost purchased were $1,500. At this point, now if you still want all of these items, you can make like a conscious, more educated decision as to whether or not you should, or more responsible decision as whether or not you should spend it. But the recommendation I saw is take whatever that total number is, divide it by 2, and then purchase things, only things from the list that add up to that in half number. So what is that, $750? Mm-hmm. And then the other $750 allocate towards savings, or like put in investments, or put somewhere else, so that you're not spending as much money frivolously. Maybe you can just add those items that you didn't purchase last month into your list for the next month if you really want those items. But it allows you to be guilt-free, get things that you want, but be more responsible at what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
this sounds like a shopaholic guide.
No, literally.
My thing is, I've never been able to fully relate to the list of things I want, just because I simply don't online shop. It is so rare for me.
Oh my God.
So I don't have, my sister's really bad. I know you do a lot of online shopping. My sister online shops all the time. My mom has packages every single day. And I think it's very off-brand for me that I'm not an online shopper.
It is. It's so off-brand.
But I don't know. So it's hard for me to even think about it, because I so rarely online shop. Now, I guess I do something similar in person, which is probably more risky because there's no virtual add to cart. It's just, oh, I want this.
Yeah.
Let me get it. But I love the idea, and I've heard about this, where you just create a list of, oh, I really want that jacket I saw. Let me add it to my list and think about it. And I actually have done this in the past. Yeah. 99.99% of the time, when I go back to look at the list, I don't want it.
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm so happy I didn't buy that.
Yeah. And on this note, can I show you the $300 blanket I just bought this week?
Oh, Courtney Carlton.
I got it on sale for just under $200, but I needed a new blanket. I saw it multiple times throughout the week, like different people posting about it with their coupon
it's really
codes.
cute. It's really cute.
If it doesn't live up to the hype, I'm sending the shit back.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I'll post the link if anyone
no.
It's called Lola Blankets. It looks insane. So, and they have different sizes. I got the like largest size possible, so that also made it more expensive.
That's so funny.
But look, it's sold out now, so I'm so happy I got it when I did.
I cannot.
I'm like the little devil sitting on Ashley's shoulder.
100%. No, guys, even when I did my little online shopping excursion, I had a list of items I needed to purchase because I ran out. Like, when I'm on Sephora, I'm not just aimlessly scrolling. I literally have my list saying, okay, I need a new highlighter because I don't have one.
Yeah.
Let me search for a highlighter. Yeah. I think that helps too, as opposed to, let me just go shopping. I don't know what I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny.
I was in the market for a nice ass blanket for like years. So yeah, that's why.
I think a nice blanket
to complement my new couch.
Totally.
Plus, I only spent nothing on my couch.
You don't have to justify it to me. I'm on your side, always.
You know who's not on my side?
Matthew.
My credit card bill.
Oh.
No bueno. No bueno.
Oh my God. That's a great transition to my final piece of this budgeting section. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why this came to me, but as I was doing and putting together the budget, similar to that looming dark cloud I was referring to earlier around subscriptions, I've had this cloud over my head when it comes to my Amex credit card. Because there are certain credit cards out there where you have an annual fee. Yes. I've had this credit card since right after post-college, and I have never once gone through the exercise of what benefits I actually take advantage of and which ones I don't. So I was like, let me just rip off the Band-Aid once again, and I put together this little section in my budgeting Excel. I used the conditional formatting so that based on the number I've entered, if it was above or below like the benefit, it would turn red or green, and then I have the total sum versus my annual fee, and it would be in green or red based on if I was making it worth it or not. Guys, I'm way above. Like, amazing. It was just, the cloud disappeared, the sunshine came out, and things can seem so scary when you don't want to know, but the power in knowing exactly, like, oh, I am making a good choice in this. I'm using all of the benefits and beyond. Yeah. It's so worth it. And now I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah. No, so good. So good.
So that wraps up the budgeting section. I would highly recommend. I think it's such a scary thing to do, but you just feel so in control of everything.
Yeah.
And finances control a lot.
Yeah. And even if you don't love what you see when you do this, and you wish you could be saving more, or you wish you could be investing, or you wish you could pay off your credit card bill in full every single month, and maybe that's not the case for you right now, this, if anything, is going to help you get to that place where you want to be.
Yeah. It'll help you come up with a plan for how to get to where you want to be.
Exactly. Well, Miss Ashley Paul, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on to the You Can Do Both podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And sharing your wisdom. I feel inspired, empowered. I hope the listeners at home feel the same. And honestly, like, just love what you're doing and how in control you are becoming of your life. I feel like everyone kind of needs that, and a lot of people don't know where to start. So hopefully this is a blueprint that people can translate into their own lives, maybe even into their own platforms or software if Notion isn't it for them. But so helpful. Thank you for sharing.
Of course, anytime. Hopefully it made sense. It made sense in my brain, so hopefully it made sense 100%. In the listeners' brains.
It will. Can we share the Notion template, or does it not work like that?
I can look into trying to do something like that, but most of them are really just lists.
Yeah, got you.
So it's nothing crazy.
Okay, awesome. Well, if you loved today's episode, be sure to like, rate, subscribe, share it with a friend that may need some help in taking control of their lives. We love you. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week. Love ya. Bye.
Take a bow. Take a bow. Yay.